What's going on, you guys? TBR here, back yet again with another King of Fighters All-Star video, and in today's video we are going to be taking a look at all of the Soulcalibur 6 information. That is right, you guys, over on the official forums. We do now have confirmation on what we can expect for the Soulcalibur 6 collaboration, and outside of the normal things that we would usually expect with a collaboration update, we have some pretty cool stuff with this one that you guys are going to want to check out. And now, of course, we'll have all the details in today's video. But before we go ahead and get into all of that and more, make sure if you guys haven't already done so, you smash that like button and subscribe. And let's just go ahead and get into the news. Now, the first thing you guys, as always, you're going to want to know, we are going to have a maintenance tomorrow to make room for all this. So make sure that you guys adjust accordingly. As you guys can see here, this is going to be the maintenance time and date. This will be tomorrow. You'll need to adjust accordingly for your time zone. Just make sure that you do so, that way you don't miss out on any of your dailies, and adjust accordingly for whatever time zone you are in. So with that being said, let's take a look at the update notice, and then we'll take a look at the in-game event notice. Now, for those of you who are wondering, yes, there are going to be 2 trailers that got released for the characters coming out on this banner. However, I am not going to be taking a look at those in today's video. I'll be doing that instead in tomorrow's video. So stay tuned for that. However, when it comes to this update, I needed to go ahead and just focus my attention on the actual in-game event stuff, because this stuff is quite a bit to go through and sift through, right? So, when it comes to what we're getting here as far as the first banner is concerned, now of course we are going to have 2 banners for this collaboration. For all of you that are wondering, the next banner will be in a week's time, so just kind of keep that in mind. That's generally how they like to stagger these things. So when it comes to the first banner, as you guys can see on screen, we are going to have a yellow element defensive type in the form of Cassandra, and then we are going to have a blue element attack type in the form of Keke. Those are going to be the 2 characters on the banner, and then they will be joined by a third, as well as another character that will be another free character. There'll be 2 free characters at launch for this collaboration that we'll talk about when we get there. But that is what we got as far as the premium characters are concerned. And for those of you wondering, all these characters are going to be EX, so kind of keep that in mind. So as far as the event summon characters, like I mentioned, we are going to have an event summon. This is going to be for the War Maiden's costume Cassandra. She is a purple element defensive type. And then we are going to have a character that we get for logging in. That is going to be the Aristocrat Catsuit Ivy blue element balance type. And that is what we're getting as far as the characters are concerned for day 1. So for all of you out there that have been waiting for some of the other characters that aren't involved here, you'll have to wait an extra week, but these are going to be the ones that are going to be available at launch, right? So that's what we got there. When it comes to other things that we're getting with this update, we are going to have a new battle card set. This is going to be the Dark Shadow set. As you guys can see, it features Ivy, and it looks great. That is going to be what we get for the banner set. We have no idea what the effects are on these yet, so we are going to have to wait for those, as always. We, of course, are going to be getting the special cards for both of the banner characters in the form of the Shield Big Bang EX and the Fuma Seal Fatal Violet EX. That is going to be your 2 finishers. And then we are going to have 2 option cards here, and that is what we got as far as the banners are concerned. Now, when it comes to the event stuff, we do have a lot of event cards, some event characters, things of that nature. So let's take a look. So this is going to be the card set that you can get, it looks like, for the Rush Dungeon event. So this is going to be your Rush Dungeon set. This is going to be the Happy Holidays set. So that's what you got there. Other things here, we are going to have some event summon cards. Now, of course, we are going to have an event summon with this update as well. So, of course, we're going to be getting all kinds of option cards for each one of these characters. And as you guys can see, those are going to be those there. So that's what we got as far as the option cards for the event summons. This right here is just going to confirm that those effects are going to be available for these cards, as always. And then they do go in here and let you know what you can get for the specific effect for your character's finishers, as you guys will see right here. So Cassandra is going to increase defense by 30% for 10 seconds, and then Taki is going to reset her finisher skill cooldown. So that is what we got insofar as what we're getting when it comes to any of the other stuff in here. So let's just go ahead now and take a look at other details with the summons, because this is actually very interesting. Now, as you guys can see here, we are going to be getting some re-released fighters. So this is very, very different from the normal, and I'm very curious to see if this means that the next banner for this event is going to involve the BS characters instead of the SS characters getting rerun. Who knows? Maybe it'll be more SS characters, maybe it'll be the same batch, we do not know. However, the re-released fighters you guys can see right here on screen, it is a ton of them. So we're not only are we going to be getting that, but we're also going to be getting their cards. I'm not sure what this is going to mean as far as the rates are concerned. I'm not sure what this is going to mean for what the banner structure is going to look like. What I can tell you guys is this right here is very interesting implementation, and I can get behind it. I would much prefer to have these in here than any old fest. However, when it comes to collabs, that's generally not a concern. So now I'm concerned. So I'm not sure what all of this is going to entail as far as how it's going to affect things on this back end, as far as any rates or anything. I'm sure it'll be fine. These rates are already going to suck because these are EX characters for this collab, but we'll have to wait and see. I don't know what this is going to mean. This is brand new stuff for this collaboration specifically. So we'll have to wait on implementation to know for sure, but all those characters and cards are coming back. So if you missed out on them or you really like any of them, there's pretty good ones in there. I see a Terry Bogard, for instance. Then go for it. But otherwise, that is what we got there. Now, when it comes to the card exchange shop, as you guys can see, there is going to be an adjustment made there. So take note, not anything too crazy. Battle card acquisition schedule. This is just letting us know kind of reiteration of what we've already talked about. So we can kind of move on now and talk about imprint stones. So of course, Soulcalibur is going to have its own imprint stones. You guys can see what you're getting right here as far as what the effects are going to be. Not anything that is going to be too surprising. These are all pretty much standard fare. You have things like increasing your attack. You have crit, so on and so forth. So interesting stuff. I'm curious to see how this one is going to work here. But at the same time, we'll just have to wait and see. It just comes down to implementation, and honestly, the details here when it comes to any of this information are generally pretty hazy, and I don't like to get into it yet, just because, I don't know, read the verbiage yourself. Does it really make a whole lot of sense at times? Sometimes it doesn't, so I'd rather wait and see. And of course, we are going to get a exclusive Moon and Star imprint stone for Soulcalibur 6 as well. So again, guys, pretty standard stuff. But then we get into the events, and this is where things start to get kind of weird. So we have a lot of events coming along with this update, a lot of events, and that is normal for a collaboration, but I would argue that we're getting more with this one than normal. So first up here, we are getting Boss Showdown back. However, as you guys can see on screen, there are going to be two different versions. So these are going to be the two versions here. You're going to have a normal version and an EX version. So they do talk quite a bit in here about penalties and things like that. Apparently there is going to be a new shield type where you need to use a finisher to remove it. So that's going to be kind of a new gimmick that comes along with this one. It does appear as though you're going to have to clear the one and then you can clear the other. So you'll have to clear the first one, then you can clear the EX one. It's from the sounds of it what it is going to be structured as, but we'll have to wait and see. The rewards for this thing do look really good though, and we'll talk more about it when we get to the actual in-game event update notice. So when it comes to other things in here, we do have a new team relay event. Again, we'll talk more about all these when we get to the in-game event notice. I really like what they did right here as far as having an exclusive character for a new relay event dungeon. That's really cool. Now, of course, we have not had an exclusive relay in quite a while. You will need to use your Soulcalibur 6 characters, so that is one thing you'll have to keep in mind. However, it is cool to see new stuff in here for this collab because you don't see a lot of these different types of events sometimes come along with these, so it's nice to see it happen. Other things in here, of course, they are going to have prime memories for your Soulcalibur 6 characters. Not anything too surprising there. So you can get your stuff in here as normal, but it really isn't anything that we need to talk too much about. There is going to be a new exchange shop. This is going to be a little controversial because it does appear as though new and returning players, this is only going to be for new and returning players, as you guys can see here, are going to be able to get these special welcome ticket exchanges to go ahead and get selector boxes for fighters and their memories. So this is pretty cool. Kind of sucks that this isn't available for everybody. Again, veterans and people who are very, very diligent and very devoted and loyal to the game get kind of shafted on this stuff. Sure, I get why they do this kind of thing, but at the same time, it does happen to where they do put out a lot of different reward types for new and returning players. And it feels like for the veterans and the intermediates, we all kind of get stuff taken away all the time. So there's kind of this weird trade-off there that feels a little imbalanced, right? So it is nice that people are going to get, from what it sounds like, selector boxes for the characters and the memories and the cards. A little ridiculous. But hey, I mean, if it gets more people playing the game, I guess that's a good thing, right? So as you guys can see, there are just a copious amount of events coming along with this. Again, we're going to talk more about it when we get to the in-game event notice, but I just wanted to kind of briefly go through this update notice breakdown. We're not going to go into the shop stuff, the packages. We'll talk about that in the actual update breakdown when it all goes live, so we can all see it live in game. Kind of like with the imprint stones and things, I'd rather just wait until I can see it all and actually get a full breadth of knowledge on it. But that's what we got there. But pretty much, you guys, that is what we've got insofar as the update notice. There's a bunch of stuff in here with errors and little bugs and things, but not anything too crazy that we need to talk about. What we need to talk about is the in-game event notice, because this is where we're going to talk more about all these different update in-game events. So let's talk about first and foremost here what we're getting with these login bonuses. So this first login bonus is really cool. As you guys can see, this is where you're going to get that cat suit Ivy. So there you can see her as the first day reward. So the first day you log in for this update, you will be able to get an EX character, and that will be the cat suit Ivy. If you want the other Ivy, like myself, you're gonna have to wait another week, though, because her banner won't be out. But yay. So other things in here, you are going to get some more tickets, so that's really good. They are going to be pretty generous with the tickets in here. Of course, we all know tickets don't count towards your kitty or anything like that, but at the same time, it's nice to see it. You're getting a bunch of different items and materials that you'll need for some of these other events. So it's a really cool in-game login that I think a lot of people should be pretty happy about, because you do get a free AX character, you get some summon tickets, and you get some coins. So that's not too bad at all. Other things in here, if we take a look, we get a second separate login. This one, far less exciting. As you guys can see, this one's actually interesting only in the fact that it is centered around the New Year's characters. That's what these tickets are going to be for. None of the New Year's characters are any good, for those of you that are wondering. They're all right here. They all suck. There's going to be that one person in the comment section that's going to be like, oh, well, TBR, this one character is good for this one thing that nobody ever does. No one cares. They suck. At the end of the day, they suck. So none of these characters are anything great. They're just going to be little trophies, little collector's items. Like, they're available anytime. But if you're a collector, you need them for codex, you're new to the game, whatever, you can get them. But they're not anything that you're going to be using for anything, really, for any discernible amount of time. We'll put it that way. But you do get those in there. It is obvious that they're trying to at least acknowledge the New Year, so that's cool, but it is what it is. None of those are going to be anything that is going to get anybody too excited. The event summon, however, is exciting. So this is going to be, of course, where we can get this Cassandra. We're also going to be able to get these cards. We talked about those option cards. And it does appear as though we are going to get other things in here, like the imprint stone boxes, the hammers, etc. I do not see any of the boxes for the tickets, so that's kind of unfortunate, or any boxes that would give tickets. So we aren't going to be able to get those, it doesn't look like, but it does look like there are going to be some pretty good rewards in here. So of course you'll need to get the event coins via the login and the various in-game contents in order to be able to play this. At the end of it, after 5 multis, more than likely you'll get both Cassandra and, going forward after that, a memory. So really, really cool, but it is going to come down to how many of these coins we can get, because we've seen these things be good or terrible depending on the event, but I don't think this one's going to be that big of a deal. But as you guys can see there, those are going to be the option cards that are available in there. We've already talked about those, so we can kind of move on. So we do have a new rush dungeon. We already took a look at the actual card set. As you guys can see, it's going to be that Happy Holidays set. This is a look at the assets for it. And yeah, pretty much going to be a rush dungeon. Don't start grinding on this until the final chapter opens up, and then you can go ahead and get your grind on. One of the most interesting things in here, though, to me, besides the hammers in here, is going to be the fact that not only can you get the Cassandra event coins, which is pretty nice there, you can also go ahead and get the Catsuit Ivy memory. Now, it does look like this is only 1 per account, but this is really nice. I'm very glad that this is in here. It just means you're going to be able to get just at least 1 more memory for this character, and you can get it for free. So that's pretty cool. It is pretty pricey, but all you got to do is grind on the rush dungeon, which shouldn't be anything too difficult for anybody out there. Other things in here, we are going to have a new kind of structure with the towers. This is interesting to me. So it looks like we are actually going to get 3 separate towers. That's right, you guys. So if we take a look here, as you guys can see, there is an event schedule for this. The Light of Pure White is going to be the first one, and then we're going to get the Through Darkness one, which is going to be the one once the second banner drops, which if you need confirmation on when that second banner drops, here you are, guys. I guarantee you this is where it drops, because you are going to notice that you are going to need the characters on the other banner for this one. So then you're going to get the Raisin of Good and Evil. This is going to also be available on the same day as the second one, the Through Darkness one. So there are going to be 3 different towers. Interesting stuff. As you guys can see, you will need the characters still. The last one actually lets you use all the characters. Pretty cool. I'm curious what all we're going to be able to get in here, especially since there's 3 of these things, and I'm really hoping that there isn't like 50 tiers to each one, because that's a lot. That's a lot of grinding. But hey, you know what? More rewards is never a bad thing. So as you guys can see here, as far as the third one, however, this one is going to require higher CP than the prior challenge dungeons. They do butter you up for that. However, you do get 1,000 rubies, so that's really nice for the final reward. So again, guys, curious to see what all the rewards are on all 3 of these, but rubies are a very nice start. And that, of course, is again for that final tower. So now, Boss Showdown Haohmaru. Now again, guys, we talked about how there's going to be 2 sections to this. There's going to be a normal one and an EX one. We talked about that. There's going to be this new finisher shield that they talk about. But let's talk about some of the other things that we can see here and derive from this. So you're going to be able to start with penalties on different levels and obtain rewards depending on the applied challenge level as normal. Multiple challenges can be selected depending on the type of challenge selected as normal. However, as I mentioned before, guys, this guy is going to have some pretty cool rewards. This is going to have the Spirit Sword with a Will of Its Own option card, the Aristocrat Catsuit Ivy Memory, so that's a second free memory for Catsuit Ivy. You're going to get the event coins, rubies, and Soulcalibur 6 token. So pretty cool stuff, you guys. You are going to need to clear 30 or more challenges in the Boss Showdown Haohmaru to get the EX version of this. However, this is going to be for people that are going to be more like veterans, endgame content players, that sort of thing for this specific one. But hopefully this one's really accessible for everybody else. And we'll have to wait and see what it all looks like. Hopefully there's no more really lame challenges in there. Like when they put our character and locked him on auto. Like that was just stupid. Like certain things I don't like about these boss showdowns. We'll have to wait and see how it all gets implemented, as always. So that is what we got there. Really cool that they're tinkering around with that and trying new things. So back to the new Team Relay Dungeon event boss, Unbreakable Soul Cassandra. So first and foremost, this is a much cooler character design than the ones we got. Would have been way nicer to have gotten this one. Just saying, this is a really cool character design by comparison to the other ones. It stands out, but what do I know? Anyway, you guys, as far as the event schedule, as you guys can see, we're getting an Unbreakable Soul Cassandra red, blue, and green. So she is going to change her color element typing. So that is going to be one gimmick you are going to have to pay attention to, and it looks like she is going to be changing it weekly. So that is what you need to notice there about what we got going on with this. But when it comes to this shouldn't be anything too crazy. I'd imagine these characters are going to be bonkers, stupid, broken. So you're probably going to be able to build your team of Soulcalibur characters, go in and just crush this. I have a feeling that this is not going to be anything too difficult, but it will be nice to be able to get some new content in the form of this relay dungeon. And yeah, pretty nice stuff overall. So when you notice down here though, one thing I do want to mention and point out, the maximum of 2 teams can be formed. Teams with Soulcalibur 6 fighters will receive enhancement effects. Team formation cost limit is 15 to 70. So what this means is you shouldn't necessarily just have to use Soulcalibur characters. It does make it seem as though you can use any characters you want. So that is one big thing to keep in mind there, because it does seem as though we won't necessarily have another in-game event locked behind having to summon on new banners, right? Which is always a concern. So I'm glad that that is in there. Now, other things in here, we are going to have a new team co-op event. Now, this team co-op event, the last time we had it, was actually a whole nothing thing. Like, it just collected points for you in the background for just playing the game. So I don't think that this is going to be anything too crazy. Basically, everybody that is on the same server is going to be involved with the pool. The pool gives you the different prizes depending on how everybody's doing. And really, it's not anything too crazy. I really like that this is here. I love these types of things because they're just free rewards for just playing the game like normal. So I'm glad that this is in here yet again. So that's really cool. And it looks like how you're going to earn the points is you're going to obtain 1 Essence of Good and Evil mystery box from the World Drop event. You're going to have these summon fighters 1 time, including free, summon battle cards 1 time, including free. So those are going to be the 3 ways that you are going to be able to get your points. And it looks like summoning fighters is going to give you the most. So that is what we got there. other things we get with this update, man, there's a lot of this. We get a gift event. Not only that, but we get 2 gift events. So this one is going to feature Cassandra, this one's going to feature Ivy, and if you guys were wondering where to put those cookies, you just shove them in this thing right here. So basically, this thing here, you feed it these cookies or these items, and then you get the corresponding rewards. Actually, the cookies are not what you feed this, you feed them these orbs. The cookies are actually a reward. I'm thinking clearly at 5 a.m., trust me. And either way, you get more cookies playing this thing. These are going to be the items that you feed to it. Not anything too crazy. As you guys can see, it's going to be something that more than likely everybody gets through pretty easily. Typically speaking, these types of gift events aren't that difficult. So, other things in here, the world drop event. As I'm sure you guys have already noticed, we are getting a world drop, as we've mentioned a few times. The Essence of Good and Evil mystery box can be obtained from this, and as you guys can see, you're going to be able to pick these up from playing a lot of different in-game modes, so this should not be anything too crazy for you to be able to get through, and it shouldn't be that difficult. Most of these are things that you're doing every day anyway, and the other ones are going to be things that you might end up wanting to grind, like the battle card dungeon for the new battle cards. So, there you go. So there's plenty of incentive there, and you can go ahead and pick those up there, no big deal. Now, this right here is probably going to be my least favorite thing. We're getting a new quiz time event. I don't like these. I think they're just kind of, I don't know, annoying. But it's fine. Like, the last one we had wasn't difficult by any stretch of the imagination. It was just kind of more like just time consuming and, like I said, annoying. So these quiz time events typically super easy. It shouldn't be anything too difficult, but we'll have to wait and see. Usually, you just have a question on screen and you either have to go right or left, whether it's true or false, right? So, not anything too crazy, but pretty simple stuff. Dream Match is coming back, or Dream Match is getting updated, depending on the week. But basically, Dream Match is going to be updated to reflect Soulcalibur 6, so that is going to be what we get there. So, not anything too crazy there that we need to talk about. Honestly, it's going to be pretty simple stuff. You are going to have some event missions, though, that you need to keep in mind. As you guys can see here, you're going to be able to get some event coins and some memories. As you guys can see, if you win 10 Dream Match, or if you win Dream Match 10 times, you get an Aristocrat Catsuit Ivy memory. So you'll at least want to play 10 times. If you're playing every day, though, try and get some of these other things, and it shouldn't be that big of a deal, right? So that is what we got there. The event codex is the event codex. We get a look at those aforementioned stones, but really not much that we need to talk about there. We get a better look at kind of maybe some in-game art for the characters, but outside of that, not anything too crazy there. And then down here, you do see the rewards for awakening the characters. So if you're going all in, you will be able to pick up a prime memory shard times 500 for your respective character, as well as your tokens, etc. But that's what we get as far as updating and building the characters for the codex. We do have a crafting event. The crafting event, same as normal. There is actually a helpful little table here that shows you exactly what you can craft here. So you will be able to get a Winter Holiday Fighter selector. Yay. The Soulcalibur 6 collaboration music box of peace, the Soulcalibur 6 advanced badge, beginner badge, brilliant imprint ore, and of course the stones. So that's what we got there as far as craftable items. Quite a few for this one, as a matter of fact, this time around, but not really anything that is going to be earth-shattering or life-affirming, right? We are going to be getting a new honor reward special mission. I don't really care for these that much, but this is where you're going to be able to get these fragments. These types of things don't really appeal to me. A lot of people out there really like the badges, the trophies, what have you. I'm not one of those people that gets super into them, but if you are one of those people, this is going to be your event, right? And typically speaking, these things aren't too crazy. It just requires you to go through here and play these different events, and you'll get the corresponding rewards, right? But that is what we got there. We, of course, are going to have battle passes we get a look at here. It does have a tree as normal. It breaks down all the different in-game items that you'll get. You are going to get the auto-clear feature for the Rush Dungeon for purchasing both versions of these. So any of these that you buy, you will be able to pick those up. But we're not going to talk about the battle passes and things here. We'll talk about those when they go live. As always, we like to talk about those when they're actually physically in-game, right? So other things in here, we are going to have some event missions here. You play Chapter of Fight, you get your normal rewards there because Chapter of Fight is getting reset, which is always nice. And then we have this tree here that is going to give us all the information on when and what is available, because there is a lot of stuff if you guys hadn't noticed. But anyway, you guys, that is going to about wrap up what we're getting for Soulcalibur 6. So guys, let me know in the comment section down below if you're excited about this stuff. Honestly, I think that this is a very, very promising update notice and in-game event notice, respectively. There's a lot of stuff in here to be excited about. Even if you're not a Soulcalibur 6 person, I think that these events should be more than enough to keep us busy for a while. It seems as though not only are we getting the stuff that we like with this collaboration as far as in-game events, but we're also going to be getting some twists and some changes to some stuff that we like. And we're also going to get some new stuff. So hopefully all this stuff gets implemented and works well. Yeah, right? But hey, you know, a boy can dream, right? But let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think about all this stuff. What is the stuff that you're most looking forward to? Are you upset about the character structure with the banners? Are you upset about the new structure of the banners in general, including all these SS characters? You can let me know in the comment section down below. Like, share, and subscribe on your way out. And until the next one, I will talk to you guys later. Peace.
Continue.